My 39F husband, 39M, considering donating sperm for his brother's 42M, GF, 25F. My Bill, husband's brother, is infertile, or at least highly unlikely to be able to conceive. I forget the exact issues, but I think it was very low sperm count paired with poor motility. Bill is not married, but apparently he and his GF would like to have a baby, and Bill has asked my husband to be their sperm donor. My husband asked me how I felt about it a few days ago, and I said I needed to think about it. All I can think is that it would bother me to no end. But I feel like a terrible person for thinking that way. I just keep playing it out, and I see myself being extremely bothered by what essentially amounts to my husband's biological child being carried by another woman. I'm the only one who has his kids. I'm not sure if I'm being completely ridiculous here. Would anyone else be comfortable with this? Or have you been in this situation? I just don't know if I can say I'm comfortable with my husband donating his sperm for his brother's GF to have a baby. There needs to be a lawyer involved before hubby even considers it. They aren't married, and she can take off with the child and sue for child support. This would be a no for me. Hard no, especially since they are not married. And even if you agreed, are they going to do this the legit way? I would be too. She's almost young enough to be his daughter. Your man should not be contributing to that weird-ass relationship. No. What a disaster. Be honest and tell him you're not comfortable with it. If it's low sperm count, your Bill can still donate sperm. My Bill is practically sterile. Technically, he is BC, it's extremely low. But they were able to extract 3 total and did IVF. But regardless, express your boundaries. And yes, I get it's his body, his choice, blah blah blah, etc. But you are his partner. You are a team. They are not even married. Even if they were, so many things could go wrong in the future. 1. Who's going to be on the hook for child support? These cases are historically all over the place depending on location. If I was going to do it, they are footing the bill for a good lawyer's legal advice, and that legal advice better be a way to ensure I'm not legally liable for child support. 2. https www.healthline.com/health/fertility/spermotility https www.webmd.com/infertilityadreproduction/remedies/sperm-count-motility. There are plenty of resources out there for booting up motility and count. No, they don't always work, but man, if I wanted a baby, I would try having my own for at least a year before giving up, rather than put my brother in a weird spot. 3. That relationship sounds whack. Like you said, it would be kind of different if they were married. My condition would certainly be that they get married and I'll be the best man. They can have their turkey baster full of baby gravy after the party. You are not a terrible person. It's very sweet that your husband is considering this, but there are certain contingencies and expectations involved that he may not have considered. On a more personal note, I would also feel uncomfortable knowing another woman is carrying my husband's biological child. You're not being completely ridiculous at all. He might still be married. They shouldn't be trying to have a baby. They can use a sperm donor instead if they insist this will be a huge disaster. Even if they were married, I would still say no. I would never be personally comfortable with this. Especially since they aren't married and aren't going through a clinic. I'd rather send them money for sperm retrieval than have my husband donate. Tell your husband that you're uncomfortable with it and why you are. Your thoughts and feelings are reasonable. Most people would have a problem with this. Sperm is relatively inexpensive and she can get inseminated at an OBGYN's office. The whole thing can cost less than $1,000. The kid's donor could be an Ivy League grad or professional athlete. And then your bill can adopt the baby at birth. Offer them cash towards the expenses instead. I hope your husband doesn't go through with it. The whole situation is icky. My first thought is, what if they pass away one day? Are you and your husband ready to adopt, raise and provide for the kid? Alternately, what if they select someone else to be the kid's guardian in such an event? Also, what if one day, he realizes he strongly disapproves of their parenting decisions? What happens if it's to the point that he thinks their decisions could harm the kid? Honestly, call me old-fashioned, but I can't see donating sperm for someone who can't even be bothered to marry the woman. And I just saw that age gap. Yikes. Is she fully on board with having her Bill's kid? It's not like with a stranger. They will be interacting potentially forever. That said, you need a fertility lawyer for the contract. Will she come for child support? Your husband needs counseling to work through emotions regarding being a part of his child's life forever. But as an uncle, not a daddy, you do too. Your feelings are very valid here, and 100% need to be considered. Will they want to do this multiple times? You okay watching another woman carry your husband's kid? Not just once, but multiple times? My uncle also couldn't have kids. They were going to adopt, but ended up with 2 bio kids instead. If that happens, how will the not bio kid be treated once the real baby arrives? What happens if they break up? She gets custody and moves away. Uncles don't have rights. You guys, all 4 of you, need family and individual counseling, time, and a damned good lawyer. Who's paying for all that? I would be uncomfortable. If it's not done the legal way, your husband would be legally responsible and can be ordered to pay child support if his brother's relationship sours. Speak to an attorney before deciding. I would not be cool with that. Update me. You're not being ridiculous. And most people would think like you're thinking. You should be very clear with your husband about the concerns you have. I also don't think this is generally a good idea either. Like, this is not an anonymous sperm donation like from a clinic. This would be your husband's biological child, not just his nephew. Emotional issues aside, this can lead to many unnecessary legal and family complications in the future. The new child and your existing children will one day find out that they are siblings. Not to mention the awkwardness of it all if Bill and GF break up. Also, now that I think about it, what exactly is the reason for asking his brother, your husband, to be a sperm donor instead of getting an anonymous one? Are they not just trying to get your husband to be emotionally invested in the baby? And that too at the cost of his and your current marital peace? Like, you and husband will probably not feel differently about your nephew if he's adopted or from a sperm donor. But if your husband is the father, then your husband will certainly feel more responsible for the child. I would not be comfortable with anyone donating sperm to a 42-year-old guy trying to impregnate his 25-year-old girlfriend, let alone my own husband. Yes, you have every right to object to this. It's not a good idea on so many levels. That would be a hard no for me. Just too many ways for that to go wrong down the line. Terrible idea. Divorce him if he does this. I'm not comfortable with the fact that the brother is 42 and the girlfriend is 25, let alone your husband donating his sperm to an unmarried couple that haven't been dating long. I mean, it's your husband's choice, but you better involve lawyers into this and look at your states, countries, laws in regards to this? I would say absolutely not, and I don't care about being the bad guy. Tell your husband no and unlade everything everyone here has said in your bill history and situation on the table and ask him if that's what a responsible and committed father sounds like.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.